Hello, welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Ghosts. And today we are talking about a program we found on YouTube. It was long. It was just a little under an hour, but it felt like it was longer.
Yeah.
It was from a channel called Adam Mark Explores. And he was exploring the ancient Ram Inn, which is why we looked at it. Because, we've seen lots of stuff on the ancient Ram Inn before. It's intrigued us. It's a place I'd love to explore myself. Yeah. But they, it looks like it's a duo, a couple of guys. Maybe it's Adam and Mark, I don't know. But they were with the Ghost Theory people. Yeah. Now, we have reviewed Ghost Theory before. Didn't give them a stellar review, but anyway, they were with them today. This particular episode was uploaded 2 months ago, so it was not entirely old. Now, my first off, is it just wham goes right into the video. There's no real build up, no credits, which, okay, fine. Apparently that's not a thing all the time, but I like credits. But there is no real build up in it. They're just suddenly there and they're doing the walkthrough. Yeah. Which thankfully they are doing a walkthrough, at least, to get a look of the lay of the land. The walkthrough was incredibly disjointed. Yeah. Noisy. People talking over each other. It was just difficult. Yeah. And it seemed to go on for quite a while. Now, they did say that they wanted to do the walkthrough before they start the investigation. So, at one point, it was really hard to know when the walkthrough was done and when they started to investigate. Yeah, and then suddenly they were doing this...
investigation?
This investigation. And they're doing a lot of EVP session, which is nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. But the biggest problem I found with a lot of those EVP stuff is they started talking over each other. Yeah. And you couldn't hear. If there was a response, how would you hear it? Yeah. First of all, and they weren't even using voice recorders. They were just using, what is that? The necro box thing. Whatever that one is. And a lot of the stuff coming out of it was not relevant, but they're trying to make it relevant. Yeah. Now, according to history, the ancient Ram Inn has spirits of children, the bishop who was abusive to the children, a witch, so a woman that was hiding there from witch hunters because they were going to hang her and she was trying to hide. And that's where she was found and dragged out and hung. There was children's bones found in the basement or in that area where there would have been a basement. I'm not sure if there is a basement or not. So, there's a lot of stuff. The history for this inn is well documented. It's very old. It's been there, 1,000 years? Yeah. That's pretty awesome. And I know that this place is fairly large when you actually look at it. It does have not just the bar that you always would see from... old John, when he'd be talking about it, he'd only be showing a certain part of the place. It's really quite large. Yeah. And a lot of it is very dark. Yeah. Because it's an old stone building. Yeah. Not a lot of windows. And I think they've got a lot of stuff almost undergroundish. There's not a lot of windows in this place. No. Very dark. Very dark. So a lot of EVP work. And then they had all the REM pods, the cat balls. No. Oh.
And to be totally honest, I was having trouble staying awake.
It just because they didn't
droned on. And,
they didn't vary up their investigating styles. Yeah. It could easily have been a half an hour or 40-minute episode. It didn't have to be an hour. They spent far too much time just talking over each other. Yeah. Talking to each other, and it wasn't that good that way.
And again, they do the same thing. I hear that noise over there.
Yeah.
Did you hear that noise? No. God, no, I didn't hear that noise.
And this is a 1,000-year-old building with wooden beams and stuff.
Yeah.
There's going to be creaks, knocks, bangs. It's old.
It's old.
You know, and at one point, this is one of the things that really bothered me is they broke into two. So there was some people upstairs on the upper level and they were on the lower level. And then they're downstairs on the lower level going, oh, they're pointing up to the ceiling. Do you hear that? Do you hear those footsteps? Well, duh, dumbasses, there's people up there. Yeah. You know, like, what the...
Yeah.
What do you think you're hearing? You're hearing the sounds of the people upstairs.
Yeah.
It just, that one really drove me crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't believe they got anything in this particular investigation. Their voice box thing kept spitting out things that I believe are pre-programmed in there. I am with my family. If you're with your family, why are you still there at the Ancient Ram Inn? Really? No, bullshit. I call bullshit on that one. I can see you all.
It could be John.
It could be, but why would John be even talking about that?
His kids run the place.
His kids are, yeah, but then why is he saying, I'm with my family? You're not with your family then. You're there. Your family's on the other side of the curtain still. You know? I do believe he's probably hanging around there because he loved that place, even though it scared the crap out of him. He and his succubus. I think he liked the succubus. But anyway. But yeah, there was just so many people asking questions over top of each other, and all they were going by was that box, which I don't believe is real. I think it's just, in some ways, like, I like the obelisk, but you also have to take stuff in context.
Yeah, but...
And you can't always believe everything that comes out is real.
You can't do a Zach Bagans and...
Oh, jeez.
And it says... And it said, you know, blah, 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 and yeah,
they're trying to find ways to make things...
You can't make everything relevant.
No. I did think it got better when they separated. The Ghost Theory people went one way and the Adam Mark people went the other way. It got better, but that didn't last very long. It lasted maybe 10 minutes before they joined up again and all, you know, started in on all the noises and voices again. They spent a great deal of time in the bishop's room where they did this other EVP, I wouldn't even call it an EVP session. It's a question answer with the stupid box thing, and they're trying to get the REM pods to go off. And there's so many people. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the movement of the people are causing the REM pods to go off.
Yeah.
Just too many people. Too many people.
And it seemed crowded.
It was very crowded with people moving around. And I think even if you don't get too close to those REM pods, if you're moving and a floorboard is moving under your foot, you're going to set that off.
Yeah.
Same with the cat balls. You're going to set them off. Yeah. In fact, there was one image I saw a guy sitting there with his foot out, and it looked like his foot was right on top of the going off REM pod or cat ball. So was it, or was it just the way the angle of the camera looking? I don't know, but that kind of stuff leaves me open to question what was really going on there. I mean, this is a place I would love to investigate, but you really need to do it properly and with a smaller group. Well, a smaller group so that there's no contamination, because how much of that was contaminated? Yeah. I would say a good portion of it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's an expensive place to investigate. I mean, you pretty much would have to have the whole building shut down for a proper investigation, unless it is like after 2 or 3 a.m. or whenever they closed a pub down. I would think after 3. I don't know what it's like in the UK, though. I mean, they drink till all hours of the day and night, so I don't know. But I could be wrong about that, too. I don't know. I think... maybe this is why some of these people come in with bigger groups, because they can't afford it otherwise.
Yeah.
I don't know. They had a nice display of John and pictures from his past when he was in the military and stuff. That was kind of nice to see.
Yeah.
It's nice that they're still honoring him.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of the original owners, and his daughter, I believe, runs the place now. Yeah. But yeah, the best part for me was towards the end where the one fellow, or maybe it was two of them, went up into the attic and they did a spirit box session. And he actually, he'd said something about, well, this is where a woman was hung, supposedly. He did acknowledge that there was no real proof of that, but he didn't know.
Yeah.
So they talked about that. And then he started asking questions. Are there children here? And, who's here? Is the bishop still, hurting you? And all that kind of stuff. And they were getting some relevant answers, and it was making sense. Some of the stuff coming through the spirit box. And it's not the same, that other necro, whatever. I can never remember the name of that thing because I just think it's dumb.
Yeah.
But not one of those. It's an actual spirit box. So it was actually making sense from the white noise.
Yeah.
And those were questions and answers that were coming through. I mean, there was a couple of times it was a big, sort of long sentence, all with the same voice. And you could tell that it was the same voice basically as it's going through its channels, answering some of those questions. That one to me was the best part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the rest of it, it's one of those videos where they just went on and droned on and on doing the same stuff for too long.
Yeah.
For too long. I don't honestly know if I will watch another one of these.
No.
I might be willing to do so if they're not teamed up with another group.
Yeah.
To give them a second,
Especially
second chance. Because the one fellow who was talking the most, I'm not sure which one he was, Adam or Mark. He's not from Ghost Theory. He seemed pretty decent.
Yeah.
But there's just so much. There's so much.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it.
No.
So this particular episode, like I said, was the Ancient Ram Inn. Unless you want to really hear a whole bunch of crap, I would pass on this one.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can't find a better one so we can maybe review the actual people involved, the Adam Mark people, in a little bit more detail. I'd love to give them a better review than this.
Yeah.
But this particular episode, not so much.
No.
Not so much. That's all I have to say about this one. Okay, so yes, we actually did have another thing to talk about today that we found. And we watched it a while ago and I thought, oh my gosh, no, maybe we'll just put it off to the side because we did comment the other day how we're not overly fond of the Side-Eye guy because it's clear he doesn't like paranormal stuff.
Yes.
And I stand by that. I don't believe he likes paranormal stuff, but he also calls out crap when it's warranted.
Yes.
And what we watched today earlier was his 10 top deranged ghost hunting claims and debunks.
Yeah.
And some of it was pretty good. The first one, he talked about number 10. So we're starting at 10 and we go down. Mackie and Amanda, whom I've never heard before. Now we're going to have to go check them out at some point.
We've had.
No, we've never looked at Mackie and Amanda. And there's probably a reason for that. Apparently, they did an investigation in a place where some woman took a dive. She committed suicide by taking a dive out of a window.
Yeah.
And it was clearly a suicide, according to the police and everything. Yeah. But they, in their investigation, tried to say her boyfriend pushed her out.
They're doing the Estes method.
Yeah, supposedly the Estes method.
And her boyfriend pushed her.
Yeah. Now, like I said, there's nothing to say that there was any foul play.
Yeah.
And to accuse a man of murder
is beyond.
Is unconscionable. If I were him and I had seen this video, I would be on the phone to my lawyer so flippin' fast.
Yeah.
That their heads would, Google wouldn't be able to find them. I would have them slapped with a lawsuit so hard and fast.
And just uncouth.
It's just unfair. Yeah. And like he said, the family's not going to want to see this because it's going to dredge up all of that stuff.
Feelings and
Jesus. Yeah. So it is definitely debunked because there was no foul play.
Yeah.
Just because her Ghost Estes method thing says
once clicks and likes.
Yeah. Clicks and likes. They're trying to solve something where there was nothing to solve. Quit trying to fake it. People out there, don't fake stuff. There's enough that you can do without faking. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Number 9 was our favorite, Paranormal Files, Colin.
Yeah. Oh,
and he was at the Hinsdale house.
Yeah.
And apparently he's sitting on the floor in this little closet area. And he claims that a ghost grabbed his ass.
Yeah. Sitting on the floor.
Yeah. And,
And he fixed himself out
by
with his own ass.
Yeah.
Oh, that was my hand. What the fuck?
So yeah, there's no way somebody, even a ghost, is going to grab your ass while you're sitting on it.
Yeah. No.
That's just dumb.
Yeah.
That's dumb. The next one was Ghost Adventures, when they had the witch Patty Negra there, and she was doing some chant.
Yes.
I wouldn't even call it a chant. I'd call it a moan or a groan.
Yeah.
And she supposedly got this chant.
Maybe she had vibrating panties on.
Oh, I don't know. It didn't sound like it was doing her any good, though. I mean, she's making this long, almost a moany, groany thing where it's supposed to make paranormal activity improve or increase. Which was the biggest bunk of shit I've ever seen.
I've never heard of that before in my life.
I think she's on television with the Ghost Adventure crew, and she needed to do something because obviously there was no activity going on, and something for attention, because it's that look at me thing. Mm-hmm. And the thing they showed, Zach's comment, he's wearing one of those masks for breathing, a respirator mask, and you hear him say, "There's a lot more tension here now." Well, yes, there was, because she's freaking nuts.
Somebody emptied the wisdom jar and it took up all the air.
Oh my goodness! I haven't seen a lot of their episodes from last year yet, simply because I'm working my way through some of them, and there's just so much better content to watch these days, so I'm not watching it as often as I was. But anyway, I'll catch up eventually, and then I will laugh my ass off through that one too. Yeah. Next was somebody named Jasko, which I haven't watched any of his, and we might have to go find some Jasko stuff to watch. That one could be kind of interesting, although I don't know. He's trying to say that there's LiDAR installed in every cell phone nowadays, which is not true. LiDAR is a fairly expensive software.
Yeah.
And no. But he was trying to show, I don't even know. Ghosts from his camera. I don't even know. It looks more to me like, not LiDAR, but heat and thermal stuff.
It's not a.
But even that's not even part of your phone unless you can't even have an app for that without it working properly. Yeah. A FLIR light kind of thing. Yeah. No. Your phone isn't set up for that. No. It's got to be something specific. Then he talked about Project Fear and this one particular episode, and I remember this, but I never really thought about it at the time because it just happens so quickly you don't pay attention. But Chelsea's in the down in this. Obviously, it's an old derelict building. They're always in derelict buildings, and she says she's suddenly very cold, and you can see her breath.
Yeah.
At one point, you see her breath.
And it looks proper.
And then you see her breath as they cut away and go back, like change angles of the camera, and it looks like she's got this huge breath of air coming out. Yeah. And he describes it as looking at just like she's vaping. And you know what? That's exactly what it looks like. Exactly what it looks like. It doesn't look like the normal natural air that you breathe out when it's cold. Yeah.
Even when you blow.
Yeah, it's still more of around your face kind of thing, not in a nice steady stream like that. So, they probably did that for effect. I do wonder. I think it was colder because you could see her breath before. It was a little bit more natural. And then they tried to enhance it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened.
And,
But then it puts everything into question.
Yes. I was just going to say that. you know, you say and you shiver, and she didn't shiver.
Yeah, it didn't look like she was super cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said for a petite woman like her, wearing just a light hoodie, if it suddenly was that cold, you'd think she'd be shivering a little bit.
Yeah.
But she wasn't. So I do believe the temperature dropped. It was a little bit cooler, enough that she could see her breath. And sometimes that happens, I mean, even without paranormal, in some of these places almost underground, in basements where it's much colder. So it can happen.
Yeah.
But I think they embellished a little bit there, and I kind of unfortunately didn't catch that when I watched it. Next was twin paranormals.
Yeah.
Paranormal twins, that's it. And I don't even remember what that one was about. I just wasn't impressed.
Yeah.
I didn't like that one. And then, do you remember that crazy guy, Steve, who owns the Atchison House? That was his number 4. And, I mean, they just showed that whole lot of crazy stuff that we talked about on our review. Yeah. That he just kept going on. And the more he talks, the more stupid he sounds. And he called him out on that, talking about Block 56 and the cemetery behind the house, where it was clearly proved that it was not. So, and that was also Colin, the Paranormal Files episode. Yeah. But he was clearly talking about Steve, not Colin. And I think we said with our issue was that Colin let him go on about it and didn't call him on anything, and then used that information, carried it through to the investigation later, which was kind of dumb because there was no investigation, really. And then My Haunted Hotel in the UK, which is actually Ye Old King's Head Inn, and it's a pub and a hotel. And he did a bunch of research into that and proved that basically it was a made-up site. Yeah. A made-up site. So it's not a Victorian site like they're advertising. It's just an old site. Yeah. The second one was Mindseed, which we had reviewed favorably in the past. I'm going to have to go back and take a second look at some of this now. But apparently they go to some Airbnbs, and it's not haunted places like they're advertising. Yeah. They're renting out Airbnbs, and then they're pretending they're haunted sites. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. And they're doing it against the rules of Airbnb. Yeah. Because you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to use any filming for commercial purposes without permission. Yeah. And the owners of these places didn't know. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting that you would... I mean, there's so many places to use as it is. Yeah. That... Why would you do that? Yeah. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Hang on. And the very last one... was our personal favorite, Proving Demons. Now, I don't exactly know what he is claiming to debunk here. No, wait. I don't know what he was claiming to debunk here. The clip they showed was some sort of ritual, pagan type ritual thingy that he's doing, speaking in tongues and whatever, and a fire and what. I don't know what it was. It was dumb. However... The guy is the one that we have talked about before, where they broke into a place. He's smoking,
putting the cigarette butt out, basically
putting his 2 people who've never been with him investigating before in danger, and then they're running and sneaking and hiding from the police. And oh my God, it was horrible, and we would never watch him again. So. That one was the number 1. He also had some honorable mentions. I'm not even going to go into those. Go ahead and watch it if you want to have some entertainment. This episode of Side Eye Guy actually is worth watching. Yes. Like I said, he clearly is not a paranormal fan.
Yeah, but he does his research when...
Yes, he does. He does his research...
like the Airbnb thing, he called the woman.
Yeah, he phoned her up to talk to the owner of the house.
And she didn't want to, who are you? And
Yeah.
I seen your house on, on
YouTube.
And
It's
she was,
supposed to
what?
be haunted, yeah. Yeah, so it was an interesting episode. When things are obviously faked, I like it when people call it out.
Yeah.
But I don't like it when people just automatically assume the paranormal is not real, because it is.
It is.
There are a lot of charlatans out there that are just trying to make a quick buck on YouTube. Yeah. That is absolutely true.
Like
and
Maddie and whatever her name is.
Who?
The girls who can accuse the guy of murder.
Amanda and Mackie, or Mackie and Amanda. Mackie and Amanda, yeah. Yeah, like there's some really crazy stuff. And I like that when it does get called out, and it should get called out.
Yeah.
There are real stuff. We know this.
Yeah.
And sometimes these guys that are faking it are so good that you don't catch it unless you dissect it carefully. Like this guy does, and has his people, his fans, obviously send him information to take a look at. And there is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I just get a little jaded seeing all the negativity all the time.
Yeah.
But, if it's real, it's real. If it's not, it's not. Yeah. And call a spade a spade. If it's not real, it's not real.
Exactly.
So that was our couple of things that we saw today that were...
Yes.
That were definitely a no and a good yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I really didn't enjoy the Ancient Ramin episode with Adam and Mark exploring.
I had trouble staying awake.
Yes, you did. I looked over a couple of times. I thought it was the dog snoring, and it was you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but this last one, I mean, I do admit the Side-Eye Guy is entertaining to watch as well.
Yeah.
He does make it interesting and fun. It's just unfortunate that he has to call out people who are making a lot of money on YouTube with their videos.
Yeah.
Like
Zach Bagans.
Oh, Jesus, Zach Bagans. Let's not go into Zach Bagans. We saw a bunch of stuff today about Zach Bagans, and it's like, no. I don't want to go there again. I don't think we're going to go there again. Although we might.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen down the road. It's the beginning of a new season. Anything can happen. So again, if there's anything you'd like us to check out, by all means, send us a message somewhere on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. You can leave us a message there. Our inbox is open.
Yeah.
And you can send us a private message. You can, do that. You can also send us an email. And you can drop us a message on our Spotify page. All those links are on our homepage. Yes. Again, that was our episode for today.
Happy hunting.
We shall see you again. Happy hunting. Bye now.